What's up, Missouri Tiger fans? I'm fresh out of the shower from doing yard work outside here in St. Louis, Missouri. We are 1 week away from the college football season starting against Central Arkansas. And of course, we have to do our season predictions for the 2025 upcoming season. Now, this is going to be a quick video. We're going to go right through it because I know you guys like to get right to the meat of things. But let me tell you this. I'm going to tease you with the schedule prediction here. I think this is my bias this year. I think this is Coach Drink's best team yet. We'll see. Right? We're going to see. Now, we do have a little bit of an issue with the left side of that offensive line, what they're going to end up doing. And I think Caden Green right now is going to move over to left tackle. But outside of that, I think someone, maybe us, later on can make the case that by position, we're actually set up to be better than we have been definitely last year. But is this the best team that Coach Drink has had since he's been here? I think so, but there's only going to be one way for us to find that out, and that's going to be after this season is over with. Now, usually at the beginning of a season for the last few years, I have been predicting the schedule based off of my heart over my head. Now, even though I think that this is probably our best team yet, this Drinkwitz era, with my head, I think this is actually going to be our worst record season yet. And where is this negativity coming from? I'm going to ask you this one question. Who is our marquee win since Coach Drink has taken over this team? And if you say the Ohio State game, that therein lies the problem that we're in. We haven't beaten a marquee team that has converted anybody outside of Columbia. Now, that could change this year, and I hope to God I am wrong, and I hope Coach Drink and the Tigers prove me wrong this season, that this is the one that we're going to knock down a few marquee teams. But again, thinking with my head, this isn't going to be the season. And that is knowing that we have a fairly easy SEC schedule, although when you compare it to all the schedules, it's still a tough schedule. But that's SEC football for you. Let's get to the predictions. Next Thursday, Central Arkansas, Missouri is at home. And the schedule lines up great for us at the beginning of the season. We've got a bunch of home games, which on paper, I guess that looks good for us. But don't forget, last year we had the same situation for the most part, to where we had all those home games, and then we went into the buzzsaw that was Texas A&M for our first road game and just got destroyed on the road. You need a road game or two to where it's an easy win just to get that routine going. Players need to get into the road routine. Coaches need to get into that road routine. That's going to be part of the problem this season. But that Central Arkansas game, give the Tigers their first win of the season. And this whole thing about us not being able to figure out which of the two quarterbacks we're going to go with, Horn or Pribula. Come on now. You guys know it's going to be Pribula. This is Coach Drink that we're playing with. He is playing games because we all know that second game of the season against Kansas at home here in Columbia. Why would you establish who your number one quarterback is week 1 against Central Arkansas when you have that big game against Kansas? Let Kansas game plan against both quarterbacks. This is classic Coach Drink working his thing. Although I do believe that Pribula will be our number one quarterback for the season, both quarterbacks offer something a little bit different. Pribula is great running the ball. You're going to see packages for both quarterbacks, and I think that's a good thing for this Tigers team. So looking at that Saturday, September 6th game, looks like an afternoon game against Kansas. At home, you have to give that one to the Missouri Tigers. That's going to be a fantastic game to watch, and that'll get the Tigers off to a 2-0 record. So after the Kansas game, Tigers have Louisiana coming in September 13th. Go ahead and give the Tigers that win for that weekend also. Again, we're not going into details on a lot, so we want to try to keep this quick for you. So the Tigers stand at 3-0 for the season, and then have South Carolina coming into Columbia this year. Remember last year's game at South Carolina went down to the last play, basically, and what a killer for that Mizzou season to lose there in South Carolina. That would have been a huge pickup for them, and then that Luther Burden catch with the one-arm left hand, that was awesome. Now, this is one of those losses on the road from last year that the Tigers are going to have a redemption try back here in Columbia, and I do think the Tigers are going to beat South Carolina at home September 20th to go 4-0. And then the following week, they play UMass here at home in Columbia. The whole UMass, I don't understand why we play UMass, but give the Tigers the victory against UMass and they'll be 5-0. Now, the following game for them is the big one, Alabama at home here in Columbia, Missouri. This is one of those marquee blue blood games that we just haven't been able to win. Missouri was not competitive last year at Alabama, and this is where Coach Drink and the Tigers can prove me wrong. This could be the turning point of the season, much like I said last year in the predictions where I said that the Tigers were actually going to lose going down to Texas A&M and that would probably kill their season, and that was the truth. Tigers looked completely outclassed down Texas A&M last year. So can Missouri finally pick up that marquee blue blood win this year? Prove me wrong. It sets up to be that way, right? With the way that the SEC schedule is for us, but we are not thinking with our hearts this year. I'm not going to do it. We're thinking with our heads. Alabama's going to come in and crush the Tigers here at home in Columbia. I hate to say it, but we're just not going to be able to pull it off. Tigers will be 5-1. Missouri then goes on the road for 2 games. The first one, October 18th versus Auburn, and then they're at Vandy, October 25th. 2 games that the Tigers should be winning, right? You guys remember the Vanderbilt game last year in Columbia? The Tigers are not going to win both of these games. Remember, we're thinking with our heads, right? I think Missouri will handle Auburn and then end up losing a tight one against Vandy there. But between those 2 games, whichever one, they're not winning both. So by the end of the Vanderbilt game, the Tigers will be 6-2. Heading into that November 8th game against Texas A&M here at home, which is a huge difference for the Tigers because, again, last year, like we said, they just got curb stomped down there. That was the first road game, I believe, of the season last year, and the Tigers were absolutely not prepared. And that one you can lay on Drinkwitz for not getting the team ready to play on the road. Now, fortune should change with the Tigers having a home game here against Texas A&M. Again, we're thinking with our heads. The Tigers were so outclassed there in that game. They're going to have to prove me wrong here again in Columbia. I'm going to give that game to Texas A&M. Tigers go 6-3 at the end of November 8th after that Texas A&M game. Next one after that is Mississippi State at home. Look for Kevin Coleman to just dominate and shred this Mississippi State team, his former teammates. Tigers will be 7-3 after that Mississippi State Bulldog game. Missouri then goes to Oklahoma. That was a fantastic game to watch last year in Columbia, but on the road against our former Big 12, Big 8 rival, Oklahoma, we're going to end up losing that game. Tigers will be 7-4 after the Sooner loss. And then to close out the season against Arkansas, Missouri travels to Arkansas for the game. And although this should be a victory for the Tigers, I think the possibility of managing a lost season at this point of the year, Tigers are out of it, and what should be a victory will turn out to be a loss. Tigers will end up going 7-5 for the season. 7-5 for what I consider to be the Tigers' best team, maybe on paper. Now, am I playing mind games and just daring the college football gods to finally let the Tigers have a successful season? And by successful, I'm saying in the college football playoffs, playing for the SEC title. I just don't think it's going to happen, but you let me know, Tiger fans. Is this finally that year? They keep saying it's an easy SEC schedule for the Tigers, but they're not guaranteed wins in this conference at all. Look at what happens every season in the SEC. Let me know your predictions. I hope that I am wrong. Trust me. Just get me to that Kansas game. I've got to watch that Kansas game. That's going to be so much fun.